Notre prochaine participant pour la compétition francophone est Meghan McManus, de la Faculté des Arts et Sciences. Meghan complète son doctorat en biologie et le titre de sa thèse est « Traitement non-invasif de la cardiomyopathie hypertrophique par la technologie Cas9-RNP ciblée par Ultrasons ». Le titre de sa présentation pour la compétition, ma thèse en 180 secondes, est « Ultrasons et thérapie génique, ouvrir la porte à un cœur en meilleure santé ». Bonne chance, Meghan.
Vous avez sûrement déjà commandé un produit et vous deviez être à la maison pour le recevoir. L'élément angoissant de cette situation est que la date et l'heure de livraison sont toujours pendant vos heures de travail et le livreur ne peut jamais vous le donner. C'est le même problème dans la situation qu'un patient doit recevoir une thérapie génétique pour une condition cardiaque. Justement, une personne sur 200 est porteuse d'une mutation génétique dans son cœur qui mène à l'affaiblissement de l'organe. Pour soigner la maladie à la source, il faut envoyer un traitement génétique pour éliminer ou reconstruire l'élément défectueux de l'ADN. Malheureusement, les méthodes de livraison actuelles ne permettent pas de livrer le colis directement au cœur. Le chemin est bloqué par une barrière autour de vos vaisseaux sanguins. Imaginez ça comme le livreur qui n'est pas capable de déposer le colis parce que l'entrée de votre maison est toujours verrouillée. Par conséquent, les traitements ne sont pas efficaces à soigner le cœur. Il faut donc trouver de nouvelles façons d'ouvrir cette porte et donner le traitement. Ma recherche servira des animaux pour construire la base des connaissances nécessaires pour développer une nouvelle méthode de thérapie génétique. J'utiliserai l'ultrason focalisé, semblable à ce qui est utilisé pour les échographies de grossesse, pour ouvrir le chemin au cœur. L'ultrason sera utilisé avec des microbulbes qui vont contenir les éléments qui pourront réparer l'ADN. Ces bulbes se font agiter et éclater par l'ultrason guidé, ce qui permet d'ouvrir la barrière et de déposer le traitement génétique. C'est comme si le livreur recevait une clé pour accéder à votre maison et déposer le colis. Une fois le colis déposé, l'élément défectueux de l'ADN est éliminé et la porte se referme comme si rien n'avait changé. Après le traitement, je vais étudier les gènes du cœur ainsi que ceux des autres organes pour confirmer que le traitement est spécifique. Ensuite, je vais tester la sécurité en faisant des analyses moléculaires. Et enfin, je vais déterminer l'efficacité du traitement en regardant le fonctionnement cardiaque des animaux. Ce seront parmi les premiers résultats obtenus à la suite d'un projet de recherche qui utilise l'ultrason pour donner un traitement génétique. Le traitement aura pour but de vous être plus bénéfique à long terme parce qu'il ira plus loin que seulement traiter vos symptômes. Bien sûr, je ne peux pas donner une clé pour accéder à votre maison, mais je peux vous offrir un traitement innovant qui servira de clé à votre cœur. Merci.
Our next presenter is Marie-Sophie Roy from the Faculty of Arts and Science. Marie-Sophie is completing her master's in biology, and her thesis title is Influence of Female Reproductive Status on Mating Behaviors of Reindeer, Rangiferturandus. And her 3-minute thesis title is Reindeer Mating, Are Males Being Strategic? Good luck, Marie-Sophie.
Do you think finding a date is hard? Think again. We humans have it easy. We lie in bed, swipe left or right. The most effort? Maybe dressing up nicely for the first date? If you think that's tough, let me introduce you to reindeer, also known as caribou in North America. Every year during mating season, males don't just look for a mate. They compete fiercely to secure exclusive access to multiple females. And defending their group from rivals while barely eating or resting is extremely exhausting. With so much energy at stake, you think they'd be strategic. Why waste effort on a female who's already fertilized? Instead, they should focus on those who are still able to conceive to maximize their chances of passing on their genes. And that's where my research comes in. I ask, do male reindeer adjust their behavior based on female reproductive status? In a way, I'm testing when the reindeer use a filter, just like we do on dating apps. but instead of filtering by age or hobbies, theirs is female reproductive status, fertilized or unfertilized. To investigate this, a unique experiment was conducted using semi-domesticated reindeer in Finland. And by observing and analyzing male-female interactions throughout the mating season, here's what I found. Males courted more the unfertilized females, suggesting a strategic approach. Moreover, males had a higher proportion of unfertilized females close to them. This suggests that males weren't just competing for any females. They kept the unfertilized one nearby. And this could also mean that unfertilized females were positioning themselves closer to males. People often ask me, why do I study reindeer reproduction? Basic research is essential to understand how the world works. Basic research is the foundation that allows us to solve real-life problems. And by studying reindeer mating behavior, I provide rare insights into sexual selection and evolution, and it could also help conservation, especially as some populations are now endangered. My research also reminds us that humans aren't the only species making strategic choices. But unlike us, reindeer don't need dating apps to filter out bad matches. They just sniff. That said, please don't go around sniffing people. Let's stick to swiping. Thank you.
Our next presenter is Nabeel Chaumun from the Faculty of Arts and Science. Nabeel is pursuing his master's in health and exercise science, and his thesis title is Effectiveness and Safety of Resistance Training for Individuals with Traumatic Brain Injury, a Scoping Review. And his 3-minute thesis title is Out Injured, Not for Long. Good luck, Nabeel.
What do you call a football league where the average player misses 20% of their games due to injury, has a career length of just over 3 years, and has a lifespan of 59 years after retirement? You call it the NFL. Oh no, not the National Football League, the Not for Long League. And a large contributor to that short timeline is traumatic brain injury. Now, traumatic brain injury is an injury that impairs normal brain function. Last season, the NFL recorded a whopping 219 concussions, which is a minor form of traumatic brain injury. That comes up to almost 1 concussion a year. But high-level athletes aren't the only ones affected. Take, for example, Zach Easter, a high school football player. In the early 2000s, after having suffered multiple blows, Zach spent years battling an invisible war in his head. Tragically, with no hope of recovery in sight, Zach ended up taking his own life away just over a decade later. Unfortunately, we lost Zach. And sadly, his story isn't unique. An estimated 50 to 60 million people will experience some form of traumatic brain injury every year. And this can be due to various reasons, such as car accidents or slipping on ice during the winter. If not treated early on, this can lead to devastating long-term effects, such as cognitive impairments, mental health issues, and overall decreased quality of life. But that's where my research comes in. My master's thesis looks at how safe and effective resistance exercise, like bodyweight exercise and weight training, is at treating traumatic brain injury. To do this, I'm looking at all the research that's been done on the topic, looking at what we know and what we still need to learn, and putting it together into a single review paper. The next step will be to conduct interviews with professionals in the field, as well as people who've already experienced traumatic brain injury, to help create my own original exercise protocol. This will be for a pilot study that'll look at how effective and safe these exercises are in people who've recently experienced mild traumatic brain injury, by tracking any side effects that happen either during or after the exercise protocol. Resistance exercise has the potential to redefine how we treat traumatic brain injury, not just by improving physical strength, but by improving brain recovery as well. By understanding its safety and effectiveness, we can fill a significant gap in rehabilitation practices, ensuring that stories like Zach's are never repeated, and potentially helping millions of people and giving hope to them, people who've gone through similar experiences as Zach has. And with all that being said, I think it's safe to say that NFL is one step closer to truly standing for not for long. Thank you.
Alina is pursuing her PhD in the individualized program in social sciences, and her thesis title is What Happens When Visual Tools Are Used as a Facilitation Tool for Multilingual Cross-Functional Teams. And her 3-minute thesis title is From Confusion to Clarity, The Power of Visual Thinking. Good luck, Alina.
How many times have you sat through an endless presentation packed with text? Too many to count, right? I used to even nod at presentations, like I understood everything that was going on, while jargon flew over my head. I questioned if my English was good enough. I felt alone. And it took me years of looking around the meeting table and seeing blank stares to realize that I was not alone. The concept sometimes is just not landing. So one day, I built up the courage, grabbed a marker and a piece of paper, and I started drawing as Charlie spoke. Just like this. Charlie's complicated financial model became an easy-to-follow doodle. Soon we were taking turns. One explained, the other one doodled for everyone to see. And people jumped in the conversation like never before. I know, research has long shown that visuals enhance comprehension and retention. However, most of this research is about pre-designed static images, like infographics. There's not much about what happens when we doodle while having a conversation. And that's where my research comes in. I'm working with an organization, training some of their employees to take visual notes as they have meaningful conversations with their teams and the communities they work with. I will be collecting data through interviews, observations, and focus groups, because I want to see, while they experiment with this new facilitation tool, if there's an impact in the way we collaborate and communicate. Why should we care? Because employees spend 33% of their work week in meetings. Yet, miscommunication causes up to $1.2 trillion a year in losses for organizations. And this is just the financial side of it. Miscommunication fuels disengagement, frustration, and increases employee turnover. And that's just the financial side of it. So imagine if just by going back to the drawing board, we can reduce all these challenges. And if you're saying, well, I cannot draw, I say you do. We all did as kids. And isn't it worth the try? If by doodling while we explain a new project, we can avoid losing weeks of hard work just to realize that your team was working in different directions. So if you remember one thing from today, I want it to be that we need to start drawing again. Not just to share our ideas, but to create a shared understanding. Thank you.